everybody. I'm just gonna patch in the boys uno momento. Actually, if you guys want to try talking real quick, see what
Hello.
happens.
Hey, how's it going?
Perfect. Let's go.
Everybody come in.
Come on in. Come on in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our last reaction of this core.
Woo.
We're all big sad about this being the last episode, but here we are, anyways. I'm just switching up our screens and we're good to go. How's everybody doing today? La 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 la.
Hopefully, very well. It's been a great
Yes.
season so far.
Sure has.
This episode is a very big episode. Not only does it have great cliffhangers from what I've heard, it's also one of the best, in my opinion, chapters of the web novel.
Yeah, 100%. Interesting to see how they adapt it. I will say that, this season has been just so great on so many fronts. And I'll already say that if they continue up with this quality throughout the rest of it, it'll be the best season of ReZero, in my opinion.
Easily.
Yep. I agree, 100%.
The quality is just not only very, very good, but consistently good, right? It's the consistency aspect of it. Because there's been loads of points in the previous seasons where there's been really high moments. But this has felt like the most consistent season for me.
Yeah, I'd
Well,
agree.
we've only hit one of the high moments so far as well.
Exactly. And it's
That's
hard,
true.
it's hard for people to, in a novel, it's, especially one as dialogue heavy as ReZero can be at times, it's hard to adapt that compellingly visually. And like last episode really showed their depthness because, they're going to have to do this many times during this. I mean, there's a lot of fights from here on out, sure, but there's going to be more moments where yapping happens. I mean, there's always moments where yapping happens, ReZero, of course. But to, keep that so engaging, a lot of the characters are so realized in this core that
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's hard to really nail every single scene a character's in as well as they did this time around. The voice actors did amazing, of course. The music's amazing, of course. But just from a production, standpoint of the anime, I mean, I'm really impressed with all the directors
Mm-hmm.
that they have going in. It's hard to compose something and pace it really well when it's a bunch of, cut up episodes like this, when it's supposed to be like one continuous long, day. They're all
Yeah.
like dealing with this one situation. And keeping it compelling and keeping it paced well is no easy feat. So I congratulate them on that.
Pachi.
Gives me a lot of confidence for the stuff ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a lot. Like a crazy amount of confidence. They have earned my respect.
It's gonna be a good episode. Before we get started, I just want to do a couple little housekeeping things because I've had a million comments in the past week about this because we're rapidly increasing our new viewers on this channel. So welcome in all of our new and old viewers. Hello. We're about to hit 3.8K. We've gone up about 1,000 subscribers within a month, which is crazy. We love to see that. However, two things. One, yes, we will be continuing our chapter reads live of arcs 1, 2, 4. We're probably going to get started and just keep jumping ahead with what we got while we wait for Connor to continue translating because we would love to have his translations, but we don't want to rush him. So we're just going to jump ahead and we'll reorganize the playlist as we move along. And arc 6 is underway. We're actually very lucky. Common is on a workplace placement right now for Reverie, so we're gonna have a lot more content coming out because Common needs some hours. Yes, Common's one of our editors, and so we're gonna have lots of stuff coming out. But we're still waiting on voicing for arc 6 as well as our character sprites. So we're not gonna publish anything until our sprites are done, and our wonderful artist is currently in college. So We're going to get a lot of work done together over winter break. We're going to keep you posted, but yes, we are indeed working towards Arc 6 and live reading Arcs 1 to 4. Woohoo!
Updating on that as well, we have, of course, the ReZero podcast hosted by 3 of the co-hosts we see here, all the boys. We get together every week and talk about, the web novel and up to Arc 7, which we finished recently, recording all of the Arc 7 stuff into Arc 8 very soon. We have a backlog of that'll be continuously uploaded bit by bit through this null period. So if you're one of the novel readers with us and you're interested in seeing our reviews, thoughts, I mean, 2 of us are blind of all of this. So if you want to hear us kind of speculate and review our first initial thoughts of, the novel, come and check out those podcast episodes because they're very, very good. Become a member as well if you're really into it. You get early access to the next podcast episode in advance, and also we're going to hopefully build up that backlog so you guys have quite a lot to do when you're supporting us, because when you're supporting us, we want to support you with good content. And life is hectic. This isn't our full-time jobs, none of us. We all have stuff that we kind of do, and in that case, it's not always easy for us, but if you support us, it'll make us be able to kind of think about it a lot more balanced with most of the rest of our lives.
The more money we make, the more time we invest. Wahoo!
Yeah. That being said, though, all of us here are very glad and very happy of all the new people that have joined. Check out our latest podcast episode, by the way, especially even if you aren't a novel reader. Some of our podcast episodes don't have anything to do with the web novel. Some of them do. Last one is a very special one, or which we review, or we talk and interview the English voice actor, official English voice actor of Nazi Subaru, Sean Chiplock. He was a delight, and he didn't have to come on, but he did, and we thank him great for it. We had a great discussion. He's very knowledgeable, very wise, and just a very kind individual. So go ahead and check that out if you are so inclined.
Wahoo! All right, you guys ready?
Yes, I'm dying for this.
Okay,
Yes.
let's go. All right, count of 3 on go. We all press play. Those of you watching at home, listen to this countdown on go. 3, 2, 1, go!
All of them together.
Nice going, Otto.
Yeah, good one, bud.
Solid cold open.
That
No
really
intro.
Good.
Not yet.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Like a source than a prototype, but sure.
Right. I wonder if that's accurate translation, but it doesn't matter. It's interesting to think there's professionals that can restore stuff like that.
That's been completely burned by magical fire.
Yeah,
Yep.
and also it's like made by an ancient witch, Yeah. Even though your camp doesn't know it, it's your camp's business. Yeah. Good one, Otto.
Mm-hmm.
Very shrewd.
Yeah, what the fuck, guys?
Any more suspicious?
Haha.
Priscilla. Lovely, lovely.
Smack. No!
You
Oh,
know what?
rip.
She deserves this.
No, that was a great song.
Yeah, you're right. Oh my god.
Mommy.
What a sight.
Literally step on me is what's
Yeah, he's
happening right
literally-
now.
Schultz.
Oh, I love Schultz. Fair.
As a reward.
She said fair in English, yeah.
Sprint with his one arm is so funny.
hmm
Yeah. You see him like more pacified here compared to his like more imposing self the earlier episodes. You can see his weakness.
Imagine if he gets Beatrice's, brings it all back, and he just gets a blank book restored.
Yeah, that's true. It wouldn't be useful at all.
To me,
You cut out.
he's just saying, "You guys could be stupid. I'm gonna figure this out."
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's like hard to trust Roswell.
I don't
And-
get how any of them allowed him back into the camp, honestly.
Well, it's exactly what he's saying. It's like there's the oath, but like he has a timeline. He's had hundreds of years to prepare for his eventual goal. But Subaru's like, oh, maybe we'll align on it eventually.
Goofy Otto. Little
No, I'm kind of with him on it, honestly.
No, it makes
Oh, I'm
sense.
with him. I just call
100%.
him Goofy.
It makes sense, but my issue is, can you read someone else's tome?
Yeah,
Similar to how the
The gospel. well,
it wasn't made for them. It just tells the future. It's all
Yeah.
copies of Echidna's.
Yeah, I mean, but the gospels all have their individual stuff in it. You know.
But
Wait,
then
the
why would
Gospels
Beatrice
are
blank
magic,
them?
but the Tome of Wisdom itself is just based off of Echidna's one.
Here it comes. Crusch.
Mm.
Whew, please give us our queen.
You mean king?
That's true.
I think the word they use is just monarch, but they
Yeah,
just
that's
call it
fair.
one or the other.
Swell.
Yeah, I can't really. Don't look as cute covered in blood. I mean, he's still kind of cute. Never mind. What am I talking about?
Damn.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
Ugh.
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 It's pulsing.
I don't like that.
Guys, you didn't have to animate that. Oh.
They had to flex. Just the worst part.
This is just getting flashbacks of episode 3 of Chernobyl.
Give radiation vibes, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Oh shit.
Oh, that was cool.
Oh, look at that. So fast.
Yeah.
It's instant.
Yeah, it kind of just
Blech, blech.
bruises your hand.
Good soup.
I remember this scene very well.
I remember it too. Editing that took forever.
Wow.
It was a good scene though. Very good scene. It was hard because you guys were screaming in agony.
Oh shit.
Lightning. Oh my god.
Holy shit. Her face is nice and clean.
Yeah. At what cost? Well, now we see the cost. Gat. Sorry. My bad.
Ayo?
Did it make his arm buffer? Also, this is another new track and it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love this track.
Ooh. Whoa!
Track, man. Oh.
She said Subaru-sama.
Yeah, she's been
Yeah.
calling him that all
She-
season.
Ever since Amnesia.
He's just very
Oh.
polite. Super looks so good without his jacket all the
Yeah,
time.
you do. You do, though.
We're shredded.
A year of training will do that to
yeah,
you.
exactly. I was about to say, he's
He's got-
definitely gotten buffer.
He's lucky too. He's got the lean muscle too.
Well, when there's no like processed foods to eat, you're going to develop that.
Yep, that's a good point.
I wonder if just the actual dragon that they turned somebody into could absorb this for Crusch instead.
Oh.
Like, did they even try that?
Well, to be honest, the only reason she's still alive, Taipei said, is because his editors like don't kill her off yet. So we don't even have any idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah, well, you know, Ram wasn't supposed to exist either, and she's a
Yeah,
major
things-
part
things
of the
in
story.
hindsight
That doesn't
True.
really matter
Yeah.
that much.
They develop. Oh, Vlakia.
True.
Yeah,
I hope she
Getting
comes
reveal.
back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was gonna say
Great.
that poster.
Interesting.
Law drop.
Oh, don't keep it a secret from him.
Trying his best to protect.
His wife.
Oh yeah, that was a mistake.
This reveal.
Are we finally going to get this explained in the anime?
I think so.
It feels so good to have this solidified in the show.
Mm-hmm.
It clears up so much, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just get a vague sense of Reinhard being strong until now.
Yeah, he just has this name that was a title someone else had.
Ordinary girl.
Teresa!
Yeah, it's interesting too because Wilhelm said stop fighting for the sword, but she was already still talented because she had the divine protection. But then when it's gone, she doesn't have the sword skill, you know?
No, not at all.
It's genuinely a very heavy curse to
Oh.
bear.
Because he wanted better for her, but also at the same time, he was the one who made her weak.
I mean, I don't think she ever
Mm.
really trained. She didn't need to. She could just rely on the
Yeah,
power.
that's true. But
Yes.
she at least fought. It was.
In
The
web
problem with being
novel,
the
she
sword
had.
saint is you never have to train those skills.
Yeah,
So if you
that's
lose
true.
it,
It's kind of
you're
autopilot.
useless.
In the web novel, she had a little bit.
Yeah, but it didn't go well.
No.
Priscilla has such good foresight. She sees something in Liliana immediately.
Gosh, these chapters were long. They're gonna wrap this up so quick.
Yeah, obviously.
Mhm.
Her
Damn,
voice and her
Sue.
stupidity.
It's
yeah.
Liliana catching strays all episode. Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Empreg.
Oh my god.
Looking at them.
Ooh. Yeah. I
Thank you,
like
Subaru.
Liliana.
Yeah, she's so good in the show.
She's fantastic in the show. It's so nice. He just said don't share that. And then he says it in front of him.
I think he meant don't share who it is.
Yes.
Right.
Nice, Garfield.
Garfield reading up on his history.
Arcane check, pass. No, history check, pass.
History check passed, yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, news track.
Ooh.
Very nice.
I swear, every time they zoom in on someone wearing the knight's outfit, the collar gets a little bit taller.
It's gonna be over their heads next season.
It literally.
The higher it is, the closer to Jesus. What? Why do we have credits already?
I don't know.
This is a very early credit crawl.
I guess
There
for
has to be
the
a reason
ending.
for it. They may not want the credits to cover up other parts. Yeah.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
This OST is so good. I love how
One of-
Garfield feels so loyal to his camp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so it's known, my whole thing buffered like at the start of this scene. Can y'all let me know when you hit 18 minutes exactly?
Who said that, sorry?
Connor, my whole thing buffered at the start of this scene.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know when
we
you hit
18 minutes.
18. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Because it's like nobody thinks that he could help Reinhard besides
Right.
Subaru. He's like, I can help you.
No.
I mean, really, no one
Bullshit.
else can help Reinhard.
We've hit 18.
Play.
Thank you.
Yeah!
Yeah!
Uritachi no Shorida.
Nice church.
Yeah.
It's
Beautiful.
crazy how distinct all the hairs of the brides are.
Oh, she looks so
He-
cute.
He just turns their number into an RGB color code.
You're right. You're right. Hex code.
The truest incel.
I'm surprised they all look kind of different.
I was actually about to say the opposite. I could tell that they were copy pasted
No,
and
they had the
had
same
their
face, but
color
I mean,
changed.
I mean, they all had. See, that one looks different.
He's just a guy, guys. Come on.
He's just a good guy.
I don't think
Well,
it's
that
a
seems like
problem for the rest of them.
I was gonna say, I think that's kind of predilected on the fact that you're marrying you.
At least he doesn't stand around going like, you'd look better if you smiled more.
Yeah, don't
Oh.
girls hate hearing that? Oh God.
Bro can objectify better than anyone.
Mm-hmm. He said the thing!
Yo!
Honestly, it's crazy how much I sound like Regulus in the classroom. This is real not good.
Yeah.
Huh?
Must be Amelia.
Ah!
His
Yeah,
wife's just looking at her
bitch.
like, this is the most I've heard anyone ever speak back to him.
Yeah, that's what she's thinking. You know, it's interesting. Lust is like, you're only fixated on appearances, and he's also like, why are you fixating only on appearances? Yeah, you can't say boys' names for the rest of your life.
Yeah. How dare you?
Regulus.
She looks so cute.
Only a real MVP does.
I love how he still thinks that, like, she just doesn't know. She must
Yeah.
just not know.
She's clearly super into me.
And now it dawns on him.
Want to bet?
I love how you saw, like, the underneath his eyelids there for a second.
It's Julius.
I was about to say it's Otto.
Yapping more than Regulus.
Oh, that was a big breath. He's not going to stop talking for a while.
Yeah! Yoink!
Yeah.
So good,
Oh,
man.
it's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a cute face.
Oh.
Attack of Hero.
I wonder if it's a new one.
I don't think so. But it's so perfect.
It's a
It's
remix.
the iconic.
Yeah.
Subaru.
She's like, this is so pog.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Peak
me and
fiction.
Jax.
Fuck,
Oh,
fuck yeah.
Oh,
Me and Jax.
that was so
I'm here to
good.
So
take
good.
your wife. Bye.
There we are.
I liked it. I liked that it was a completely different take than what we took. I took a very more emotional take on my Amelia version of that, but she was just so like, nah, fuck you.
Confident. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I love this Amelia. I love this Amelia.
Yeah,
she's so much better.
she's very heroine minded in this, and
Mu-
yeah, 100%.
much more just like stands out as a character. I think a bit better because
Yeah.
she's not reactive.
She's confident.
active and
she's-
taking
yeah.
her own choices and like things into her own sort of way, which makes her a lot more compelling of a character.
You could, yeah, because you could read it a lot as naive, but like here it's almost impossible to read it as naive. Like she just has so much faith. Like that's what it is. It's not even like childish naivete like it was beforehand, or like ignorance like it was beforehand, or like
It's intent now. She knows
Yeah.
what she
Yeah.
wants and when she's going to get it. Just that she doesn't have it yet, which is great.
And it just a very mature way of understanding that she's not mature enough to have these feelings yet, and that she's still figuring out how things go. It's just such a
Yeah.
really cool exploration of a character's psyche in just a very wholesome way.
it shows that what Subaru's been saying really gets through to her, and also she understands the nuances of like feelings. It's like, I don't want to say this, and I know it's cruel for me not to say this because he wants an answer, but I can't give it to him confidently because I feel like that'd be dishonest, or it would be,
Mhm.
I'm not sure of it yet. Like it would lead him along, or it might not be true. She has to figure it out
Yeah.
for herself. Yeah.
But I also like that there's the other side to that of she's also saying, because I can't also say no. Because I think what is the more painful thing for Subaru is not having an answer. Because he's
Right.
accepted the fact that he doesn't have to be the thing that Amelia loves.
Well,
or
at one point in
focuses on.
time, he's willing to give up his dream of being with Amelia, and that was something that he was willing to accept the no. He wanted the no. He wanted to be proven that he was a loser, that he wouldn't change, that he wouldn't be able to get with the girl that he pined for, that he wouldn't be able to improve as a person. And like her not giving him that no means that she has faith that he will grow as well as she will grow, and that they're on good trajectories with each other. Because like the thing is, relationships can help you, but they can also make you useless, right? Like there's times in which, for example, if Subaru and Amelia got together in a relationship now, they would none of them would grow as people in the ways that they could grow apart at the moment. You know what I mean?
No,
I think
Amelia still
that's-
has to become more of her own person, even more than
Yes.
she is now. More of her own
Because if
person.
because you remember like the thing back in the sanctuary, it's like if she becomes a girl that relies only on Subaru, then she won't be able to become the person that she needs to be to rule the country or to save the people in her village. Like that's really like one of her objectives is to grow and become able to give back to the people that she feels like she's wronged, or prove something that she's not a witch, all
Yeah.
these things.
I think one thing, I don't know if you guys, we briefly talked about it. I think there's a translation error when explaining who Tricia was again. And them, I think, translating it to like Reinhardt's wife, but I think it was supposed to be Wilhelm's wife.
Did they? That's
they?
wild.
So now it might just be the version I have because of the one I
Yeah,
had
it
to
might
do.
be the
I
version you had.
Yeah.
But if you guys saw that on the video, it is supposed. Teresia is Wilhelm's wife and Reinhard's grandmother. So just
I was about to
not
say,
confuse ya.
hey, what is this?
What? That's
Yeah,
not
he
sort of
he
incest
says
we need.
my wife. He says my wife.
My wife.
He says previous. Yeah, he says my wife's divine protection was passed down to Reinhard in the same
Okay,
way.
yeah.
My
Crunchyroll's fine
wife
then.
lost it. Yeah, my wife lost. I forced my wife. Yeah, he says my wife.
My
My
wife.
wife.
I really like that they included the Wilhelm. They managed to fit all of this stuff into this episode because thematically it really hits when you see the kind of man Subaru wants to be, like Wilhelm, and the way he loves his wife, in opposition to how Regulus treats his. Right?
100%. And all these scenes are like so really well done. Like it's hard to tell. Like there's times in retrospect, like even in this arc, you'll see it. There's times where you like, why is this happening? Like, what's up with this matchup? What's up with this scene? And then arcs later, you understand it. But here's one in which it's the opposite, where like the build up makes the scenes and the events make so much sense. It's like, okay, so Wilhelm sees his wife here, and we see how much he dearly cares about that and regrets about that. And then we see that, like this theme about marriage and what does it mean to love somebody and what it means to hold somebody dear, like that theme with Subaru, he's modeling after Wilhelm, and it's the same episode, so it becomes even more clear.
That was a good episode.
You can't, yeah. So this idea is that Subaru can't have lingering regrets like Wilhelm does with his wife. So the idea is that Subaru has to show up here to make sure that he doesn't have any regrets with Amelia in the same way. It's that sort of thing.
And he looks badass while doing it, even if he fucks up the kick.
it's kind of cool too with that him being paired with Reinhard. Also thematically links to the fact that Subaru doesn't want to be a hero like Reinhard. He wants to be a hero like Wilhelm, right?
Yeah.
And also it ties in with like there was a small scene and it was just a reaction Reinhard had, which is when Subaru's like, you go with me to stop greed, and I'll help you out. I'll watch your back. And Reinhard is surprised that somebody would even think that they could watch his back, because nobody treats Reinhard like that as somebody who's fallible. So Reinhard is taken by that and feels kind of somebody thinks that he's on his level. You know what I mean? That they're peers, because everybody holds Reinhard to such a lofty standard that he's not even a human.
I think it's a dualistic thing, actually, in that scene, which I agree with what you said there, but I also think it shows the false humility that he showed Garfiel earlier in the season.
Right.
Because Reinhard basically believes that too.
Yeah,
when he's doing his humility, he's doing it because that's what he believes the hero should be, not because that's who Reinhard is, right? So it's really good showing that Reinhard is a very flawed character, despite being very unflawed in terms of combat prowess.
A lot of it is that he also doesn't see his power as his own. Like, we get it revealed in this episode that his power is inherited from his grandmother, taken from her at a time of need, and given to him. And then later he refers to that, as well as himself, as the successor of the master swordsman, sword-seeing power, the divine protection. It's still not clarifying it to himself or as his own. It's a power that was given to him, not his power.
That's
he,
a good point.
As himself, might feel reassured about having Subaru there as a person, not necessarily as more power to back him up.
Yeah, because this is also a point of he does the same thing the first time Subaru meets Reinhard, where they're like, "Oh, you're the sword saint."
And he doesn't react the same way.
Yeah, like, I have a big legacy to live up to.
Right. He does. Yeah, he does say that. Yeah, he says something about that. He's like in the alleyway. Also, I think like one of the things is, with Reinhard, he, like this scenario here is him being able to like be a hero in the way that he feels like is most important. You know what I mean? Like, sure, it's hard to say. Subaru obviously believes in him, like peer to peer in that way, but I think like Reinhardt feels glad that he's not being used as like a tool. You know, he's able to help his friend. You know.
I mean, Subaru is also playing this situation knowing that he can't send Reinhardt against Wrath. And then him
Right,
killing
obviously,
Lust won't
yep.
do anything good. So he is targeting Reinhardt the same way other people have sent him, like, in specific ways before as well. He's just... He's doing it for the sake of others rather than for his own goals with it, though.
And he pretty much said as much when he was like, you know, the translation didn't do it justice, but pretty much he says like unstoppable force meets a movable object, right? And that's what he sees, you know, Regulus as, you know, this invincible person. So it's like, if somebody who can kill anything versus somebody who's invincible, who wins, you know?
Mm. Yay!
Like, just overall, I mean, some of the new tracks in this episode, like all of the OSTs this season so far have been great, but that track in the Crusch scene might be one of my favorite.
Yeah, it was
Like-
really good.
The whole Crusch scene was great. I'm so sad that like she's hurt for so badly and for so long that she's at least out for the rest of the season. It's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, we're fans of Crusch. We love her. We wish she could win. But this is kind of her point of she's lost here. There's not really much coming back from the position she's in now.
It's
She's
hard
so
because
cute.
like she's cute as well. Like in the way that she's kind of a different person and airy. Also, I think like one of the things is like it's so like the layering unfairness that's put onto Crusch throughout her circumstances. It feels like you're really watching somebody great slowly fall into obscurity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
how much can the rest of her like that's another thing. It's like sure the sword demon, but he's like a former symbol that's been desecrated due to, you know, he hasn't fought in years and years and years. He's not really a part officially of any of the Royal Knights things, you know. And then like there's also Felix, who's like very loyal to Crusch, but he doesn't really do too much on his own. Of course, he's known in the nation as the greatest water magic user, you know, like. But the thing is that it's like, without Crusch, what do they have? What does the camp have? You know what I mean? And that's the real thing that kind of bodes ill for the camp, in my opinion. It's like not only do they need to kind of make Crusch who she used to be, but without her, they're kind of at a standstill.
It's also
Mhm.
telling of how seriously this is affecting Crusch, where as even with her amnesia, she's such a driven person, where she's so tired from what's happened to her that she's asking Subaru to comfort her and to let her rest, right?
Yeah, to tell her that he's got it handled and it's going to be okay.
And I really love some of the visual direction of that scene in particular too, because the way they picture Crusch like flopping her hand out and it referring to Subaru's leg with the dragon blood when they're talking about it, and then Subaru at one point grabbing her and holding her hand, not even like very clearly actively thinking about it, just subconsciously comforting her. It's just such a good showing of who they both are as people in that scene.
For real. It's... I don't want to say haunting, but it's... I guess disturbing is a better word for just how much she's broken.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder because, you know, when an author, as we talked about, when an author has time to cook an idea, you know, like it's been a while, you know, like when she's at such a downturn, right? It's like you now think, okay, what is there has to be an upturn, you know what I mean? So I wonder what that's going to look like.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for it too.
With all the spoilers we're getting in the chat, should we switch it to spoiler section?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry,
think
chat couldn't behave. Sorry, anime onlys.
Yeah.
Bonk,
We
bonk,
just got
bonk,
too
bonk, bonk.
excited. There's a lot coming up. All right, last thing for the anime onlys before we send you away. If you are excited for the rest of season 3 and you can't wait, you could start around chapter 49 of the web novel readings that we do on Studio Reverie. I linked it in the chat for you. You can start there. You can watch any of them you want. Chapter 48 is Signing of a Divorce. No, that's not the chapter name. It's the one who I'll fall in love with. You can start there if you want to see our version of the Wedding Crashers and see what's to come with that. And then the rest goes on from there.
100%. If
Yeah.
you guys can't wait, that's the best way to catch up.
Or if you want to wait and you just want to get context on what you saw so far, just stop at chapter 48. You can do chapter 1 to 48. And then stop at 48 because then you've caught up with the anime. And I think, yeah, there's no spoilers now for that part on. That's okay, Stearman. I guess that means goodbye for now, anime onlys.
Thank you
We
so
will
much for stopping
see
by,
you
guys.
next year.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
next year. Not in a year. Next year.
Woo!
Ooh. All right. Spoiler
Yes.
warning. Audio.
Yes.
Spoiler warning. It's last warning. Goodbye. I am so excited for this fight. This night
Yes.
scene is already so well lit for everything that's going to be happening in the sky. It's going to be amazing.
Amazingly lit, honestly.
Lit. Bye,
Yeah, it is lit.
Celestial.
I like, I really gotta hand it to them with their production. It's just so much, like, the character models are so on model, everything is so beautiful.
On model.
Backgrounds, yeah, I
Me.
mean, on model, yeah.
On point.
And, like, honestly, as for the next core, there's gonna be so much action. I feel like there's like a build up. You know what I mean? Obviously, everyone feels that for the season, all this emotional themes, all these ties together. Literally, this episode is the setup of like we're pairing matchups together. There's the poster that shows all the matchups for the next core.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really expecting some fight scenes that we didn't expect was in White Fox to happen in the next core.
Oh yeah.
Especially
Well-
from the brief ones we've seen so far.
Yeah, every fight we've had in this season so far has been
Yeah,
incredible
I mean,
and beautiful.
Capella's such a highlight. The scenes with
can't.
Priscilla.
I mean,
you know.
Amelia versus Wrath even was just great
Yeah, that
start
was
to finish.
So good.
I mean, that
Pella
episode was great
versus
too.
Al is going to be crazy. I'm really excited to see how they visualize
Insane.
that.
Oh my god, I
I-
can't wait to see that.
I'm so excited to see what directional choices they're gonna make with that fight in particular, right? Like
They should just show us authority. That's my hope.
that's what I mean. But I don't know, like, how are they going to present that? Because they have lots of ways they can do it. They've got lots of creativity there, so I'm curious to see what they're going to do with it.
And he unsheathes the blue dragon sword, right? Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
he
Yeah.
does. Yeah,
He doesn't use that in general, right? Like it's crazy.
No,
he
it's
doesn't-
just a Dao that he typically carries around.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I think one that I think immediately comes to mind, apart from the obvious Regulus Reinhard fight, which we're all very excited to see the crazy water effects that I imagine we're gonna fucking see, right?
Right.
But I am maybe most excited for Garfield and Kurgan.
Yeah, I would love to. I mean, we talked about before, like
Love to
this-
actually experience that fight.
Experience
the
that
idea
fight.
that fight written out is so needlessly detail heavy to the point where it feels so slow and monotonous and sluggish and like janky to like read. It's like Kurgan
to read,
uses
yeah.
fourth arm and punches you in your solar plexus, and then he does two flips in the air and blocks with his left shin guard.
And then he uses his middle finger to poke out Garfield's eye.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like he was writing out the choreography for the storyboarding in the novel. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Exactly, and he's definitely gotten better at that in the latest web novel stuff. But like,
Oh yeah.
the idea that like that fight animated is going to look really, really good, because obviously it is. I think like it has a huge potential. We saw, fan art. We had our artist commission scenes for that. Like ideas for it, and like that fight has such a rich iconographic potential because what it means for Garfield's character. and also like it's just such an epic moment, for Garfield, because it feels like he finally overcame such a legendary figure. And seeing that, like, it's very visceral. Like, they're both visceral fighters, Kurgan and Garfield. So it's gonna be very like bloody and very like primal. I think that's gonna be really interesting. Of course, I'm always excited to see more Priscilla versus Wrath. I think her not authority, but like her ability, and also the Yang sword coming out. Like, I'm really interested now that I know more about her ability. I'm interested to see how they illustrate it in again. And then the Yang sword obviously looks awesome already, that we saw in that one shot in the first episode
Oh,
of her
she
pulling
used
it out.
it a couple
Oh yeah,
episodes
she
ago.
did. Yeah, she used it again, 3 episodes ago or 2 episodes ago. Yeah, and it was beautiful, of course.
I'm really proud of White Fox. Like, and this is the other thing that I'll say too, right? Which is they're clearly saving a lot of that budget and time spent on these big fights for this second core. If the stuff in the first core is looking as good as it is and this consistently, I think it's very safe to be extremely hyped for what we're going to see from a technical perspective next
Oh,
core.
absolutely. Like, any hesitation we may have had going into season 3, which, at least for the three of us, was dissipated over the summer by seeing episode 1,
Right.
is like none of it exists for the second core.
Nope.
It's extreme just expectation of it's going to be beautiful, it's going to be amazing. I know that I'm personally really looking forward to the which one is it? Is it the Roy fight against the group, or does Roy go against Julius?
It's
Lie against the group. That one is just so dynamic as it keeps constantly changing and evolving.
Now,
lunar eclipse, I mean.
This is the other thing I'm curious about. How are they going to do this from a pacing perspective? Are they going to make it so each episode is dedicated to each fight?
Maybe.
Kind of thing?
I have a feeling similar to what they did with the first half is they're going to make it feel so fast. Like, that first episode's going to be like a little sample of every fight going on at the same time. And then every episode after is probably going to have like some dedication
Focus.
to
And
each part.
that makes sense, because I feel like this anime core, they kind of said it doesn't make sense to do all these cutaways when we have to keep people's attention to a scene. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they understood that pretty well this time around. Like, too many moving parts is just confusing for the viewer week to week, and also it leaves too much anticipation that doesn't really get paid off too much. Like, yeah, you want to see it. You're like, oh, can we go back to that? You don't want the viewer or the reader to really think that often. You don't want to be like, oh, can we just go back to that thing? You know what I mean? Especially visually, because you're like, oh, that was such a more engaging scene. You don't want anything to be upstaged by something you're anticipating. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's also going to be really cool for anime onlys to finally kind of see like fully what Reinhard can do.
Yeah.
I agree.
Because there's always been allusions to it before, but it's never really been too like, it's like, oh, this is so quick and fast, because obviously that's how a fight with him is, right?
Trip to the moon.
There's no tricks. There's no tricks that he's needed to do.
Yeah. It's going to be really cool to, because very much in the anime culture for ReZero, everyone's like, oh, this guy's really OP. We've heard like this guy is like one of the most busted characters in fiction. And
they get like the Chibi episode that reads off all of his unbelievably stupid name powers that are so strong it's not even fair. The first attack misses. If the first attack misses, then so does the second attack. If he dodges twice, then all follow-up attacks also miss. It's nonsense like that.
I think this episode also confirms that Reinhard received the blessing, like, because he received it, not because he was asking for it, is the vibe I got. I don't know if
I got the opposite. That's so interesting.
He was asking for it, yeah.
Oh, yeah? When he was closing his eyes?
Yeah, because it's like he hears about this and then he focuses in. It's like, okay, I've just been blessed.
With a child?
With a child.
But we know that the world sort of favors and wants to act through him. I think that sort of we've talked about this nuance before, this idea of whether or not he believes that he's in control of what he can do, or like if he's being controlled by it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that we've talked about thematically. Like, thematically, obviously, I think that he believes that he is at the whims of whomever is giving him these powers, right? but like I think like mechanically he sees like he's like, oh, there's a hammer, I need the nail, or there's a nail, I need the hammer, and he gets the hammer, you know.
Mhm.
But he has to recognize that. I think but then again, it also happens passively too. Obviously, I think there's times in which the world's like, no, you can't die. Here's the divine protection of the phoenix, you know, like stuff like that.
They have the power. I think Andre has some good points of like what's coming up next. Besides some cutback to some Priscilla scenes.
Yeah,
Show
that is
the
going to
full
stay
Regu.
focused on one fight at a time.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think there's a good place to cut with the Regu scene. Like they can do a part of it, but like there's like distinctly like two parts of the fight, you know.
Yeah.
Now
yeah,
I want to read
so-
the light novel because it seems like it follows it quite closely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the light novel. I mean, the web novel is very nice a lot of the time, especially recently, where I feel like back in the day, maybe this is true. There's a lot of times in which he needed a light novel to change a lot of scenes because he was not sure of what he was doing at the time. You know, like he was less sure about the direction of the arc.
Well, he was
You know.
also not getting editor feedback right away, whereas nowadays he writes one novel at a time, and then the editor can give any feedback they need for the changes that he makes. And it feels like due to that, he's gotten the hang of how to write for the light novel better, and it comes
Yes.
out across
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
web novel.
And he's had to like he has so much more experience of being like, hey, this is what's going to in the light novel. You have to edit it down like this, right? And also he's now that the light novel is starting to catch up, right? He has a lot more turnaround of, okay, here's my draft. Okay, now I have to revise it really quickly, you know.
I imagine also working on the anime has helped him a lot understand there's just stuff I sometimes need to cut, and I have to. Like, I
Mhm.
can't pull half measures. If it's going to be gone, it's going to be gone. And he's kind of resolved himself to that. And I think that is a really good thing. Like, he's making sure that his work in its final form is focused, right?
It's really cool to see someone be able to develop like that too. Like seeing so much of how much he's changed over his writing journey in what, now 11 years? 12 years?
Yeah.
And he's such a consistent writer in a lot of ways. I mean,
Mhm.
there's a lot of writers that I love, George R. R. Martin, that stops, you know, and I'm glad to see that he's still going strong after all these, you know, years. He hasn't really taken too much. I mean, of course, there was the moment at the end of arc 6 that he kind of took a break, but like other than that, there hasn't been like a huge
Mhm.
moment where you're like, oh, when are you gonna talk at all about your stupid work, you know?
And according to Giga, he's a lovely guy.
Yeah, I've only
Yeah.
heard people say positive things about him before too.
Mhm.
It's I guess if there was any place for him to take a break, it would have been halfway through the story. I think maybe at that point he was really just like, this is where I've wanted it to be, but how do I take it to this end?
Well, we know why, because obviously where it goes is so crazy that he didn't even really expect it to go.
He
So
was
there
also
a lot in his head, yeah.
he was also writing some other things at that time as well.
He was
Yeah.
very yeah.
Vivi was around
Vivi
the time.
and Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
as
And there
well.
was another show too.
Yeah, there was one about, you know, random
Airplanes.
skyships. Yeah, airplanes, yeah.
So he gets his other work. I think he's on a miniature break right now, but we're
Yeah, he
we're a
is.
little off topic from this episode.
Yeah.
A month or two break. But
It's
that's to say the
the
future
last
is very bright.
Indeed, it's gonna be so good. And we'll have to wait and see if we actually get Arc 6 in what's called Season 3 or not. I'm
I
starting to
don't
have
know
serious
anymore.
doubts that those leaks were in any way valid.
Yeah, with how it's going, it seems like it's gonna just be Arc 5. Maybe a third core? That'd be kind of cool, but I've never seen someone do that before.
Yeah,
It
well,
would need to
the
be a
thi-
third and fourth.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
do that. They've done that rarely. I mean, I know.
They do on
I've done
occasion.
before. Yeah,
AOT had 3 cores for Season 4.
that's
Oh,
right.
true.
It's the same thing of AOT. It's the same thing as like, you know, JoJo and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
you know, like the thing with that is that I wouldn't be surprised if they are ready to do it. Like even if they aren't like going to announce it, they are still going to working on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With how long this production has been on for.
And
Like,
also,
it wouldn't
that's true.
surprise me if that is a thing they've prepared and they're dropping it as a surprise in terms of marketing, right? Of like,
Right.
oh, you've just had this amazing thing. Well, guess what, guys? We actually got more for you this time because we just looked at our quarterly and our revenue's going up because ReZero is selling like hotcakes, motherfuckers.
Yeah. Also, another thing is that there's the part of it that makes me believe that it's going to happen, which is why would you make a shortened count, episode count, right?
Mhm.
I
And
mean,
then
you could
have 8
consider
to
this
8.
an extended count for one core. Rather than doing 12, they're doing 16.
Right. That's a way of looking at it. But I think that like it's rare that I've ever seen another anime do something, like in this way, which
Mhm.
made it seem like, and of course we've talked about the way that they've shown production materials and stuff about Arc 6 and whatnot, but like it seems like their hope was to reach further, because really, people like to do 24 episode seasons, and if it's more than 12, you know, 16 is a very awkward number. So the 8 and 8 is weird unless you're doing like 8 and 8 and 8 and 8, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, 36. Okay, that seems like makes more sense.
Well, they do 24 because that's 2 anime seasons of production on television, like on live television. It's 2
Yeah.
time slots that they've bought.
Yep. So that's why I'm like, it's weird it's 8, because like I don't think 8 is ever a thing that usually happens on Japanese television. You know what I mean?
It's
Yeah.
been a couple of times, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
It kind of gets closer to 20 when you consider how many episodes are in episode 1, 2.
Right. I mean, yeah. We can talk about that when we know, right?
Yeah.
Like how much they've done, or like what was the initial vision of the season, because it's like, yeah, you're right. If that case, it'd be like, well, it's more like 23 or 24. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense, right?
It's also not like Arc 6 is going to be more expensive to animate than Arc 5
No,
was.
that's why I was thinking about. It's like, to me, I think it's definitely gonna be less, and also like the production of this season is so good that you can see how long they've had time to refine it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, if they had this much time to refine it, and it's such a healthy schedule, because yeah, the break also means that they have an even healthier schedule, because it's like the core breaks give you 3 months in between where you don't have to pump out episodes consistently, which means that you can work on stuff. So then you'd have to assume that they weren't finished with the next 8 episodes, which I feel like they have to be close to finishing all the episodes entirely, by now. So like, what are they taking the breaks for?
Usually it's touch-ups on keyframes.
Yeah, I mean, that's how ambient direction works, but it's usually a lot more staggered. It's a lot more like we're working on the episode the day it comes out, or like the week it comes out. That's what happened with Jujutsu Kaisen. That's what happened with most 24 episode seasons. So you could just say that the director really wanted to make this season really well done and healthy schedule wise, but you could also say that they kind of expected to do more. That's just my anticipation, because I feel like it's very rare that an anime studio is like, no, we have to really respect the time that we're putting into the episodes and also make sure that it's a healthy schedule for the animators. Which, if it's just 16, then it feels like they succeed on that, and I'll applaud that on that front, but it also feels like a thing that is so rare for an anime production that I'd be shocked to hear it,
Yeah. Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But this has been an amazing 8 weeks, everyone. We've been enjoying it along with all of you, and we cannot wait for it to come back in February.
Yes.
Yay!
Yep. In the meantime, of course, we talked about it in the start, but thank you all for joining. We'll be around, and we'll be happy to see you on the next ReZero Day.
Yeah.
Happy ReZero Day.
Make sure to like the stream if you haven't already. Let us know what you thought about the season as a whole in the comments once we have it posted. We love to read all of it and hear everyone's thoughts. But we will hopefully getting a lot more to see that soon.
Yep,
Or for
yep,
you
yep.
to see soon. Sorry.
That's okay. We're tired today. thank you all. We're going to try to come back with the live arcs 1 to 4 readings to keep us going in between just for fun. We'll try to organize that soon. We'll see how it goes. But until then, we'll see you guys the next time we upload. Probably the podcast next. Woo!
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye everyone.